welcome to battle number 5 of week number 5 of the Victory Road Draft League here in the FnF server. This battle is pitting Appletun Allegiance, which is Colin, who is the B team on Showdown, versus Dutch Inkays, which is quest requested both in the server and on Pokemon Showdown. As a reminder, the Mega Pokemon we have are Mega Lopunny and Mega Steelix, both of which will be appearing. The Z Pokemon we have are Talonflame, who can use Z attacks, appearing. Ninetales not appearing on Appletun Allegiance. And the Azumarill, who could use any Z move, appearing. Hydreigon, Z attacks not appearing. This is going to be pretty intense. Colin's team looks a little orangey brown, like autumn themed. Something I just noticed right now. I think that what Quest is really going to have to be careful of is that Rotom Wash. A lot of Pokemon on his team can't really handle Rotom Wash that well. Maybe a strong close combat from Hitmonlee will be enough to do it in. I think what Colin has to be careful of is maybe Hitmonlee, depending on how the match goes. Talonflame can counter it, but if it loses Gale Wings, Hitmonlee could pack Stone Edge, and that could be devastating for Talonflame. So I think those are the two big Pokemon to watch out for. We got the Stealth Rockers of Camerupt and Steelix. And then we also have some pivots, Talonflame being able to pivot, but also Crobat and Jolteon being able to pivot too. So this is sure to be an exciting match. I think it'll go pretty fast. Let's see if Amoonguss could slow it down a little bit. But for the most part, I think this will be a pretty fast match. Really good players on both sides, so let's see how this goes, and I think we're ready to begin. Interestingly enough, this is another week where Quest does not bring the Victini. Although, to be honest, I don't think Victini would have done so well against Colin's team anyways. A lot of Pokemon resisting Victini. Okay, and in comes Solid, the Steelix, and finally back to, which, as you may or may not know, Colin names all his Pokemon after the DK rap. Pokeshroom comes out, taking that Volt Switch pretty easily. In comes Audino. If he shoots ya. Ooh, but Audino does not get affected by the Spore because of Safety Goggles. So Audino being a premier switch-in to this Amoonguss. Now the question is, would Quest stay in or stay out? Stays in, switches in Steelix, who takes that knockoff very easily. In comes Rotom Wash, back again. Steelix sets up those Stealth Rocks. Quest really likes to get Stealth Rock up as soon as possible, so he's probably pretty happy with that. Rotom goes for the Defog, though, and the Amoonguss can't do anything because of that. In comes Jolteon to take that Volt Switch. Jolteon can be a pretty powerful hitter with a strong special attack stat, but can it do anything against Rotom Wash? I'm expecting it's going to pivot with Volt Switch. And a Choice Specs Volt Switch will probably do some pretty big damage to Rotom Wash. But it could also go for the Hidden Power Water to call out Camerupt. Ooh, Hyper Voice! That is interesting. I've never seen Jolteon run Hyper Voice. So, Rotom could either stay in, calling out that it's Choice Specs, or switch out to something that could take the Hyper Voice. I would personally stay in. I think Rotom is a good position here to fire off a strong Hydro Pump and do some big damage to Jolteon. If it's Life Orbed, it won't hit that hard. Even choice specs, I don't know. I don't know if Hyper Voice would do that much damage. Two electric types stare each other down. In comes Audino, taking a Hyper Voice relatively easily, doing 35%. I think we could see a Steelix switch in though. Oh, Hitmonlee comes out. Wish is up. Alito the Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee can do an interesting set with Curse and Unburden. What will Hitmonlee go for? I'm really curious. Hitmonlee is an interesting and surprisingly versatile Pokemon because it could use a Curse Unburden set, but it could also just go for all-out attack, and it will hit very hard if it does that. Will we see a setup this early on in the game? Audino can switch out really safely because of Regenerator. And Alito the Hitmonlee goes for that Curse. It will have to worry about Talonflame, however, because it is at full health. It does have Gale Wings. And even a +1 defense won't do a lot to Hitmonlee. Won't do a lot for Hitmonlee for its defense. Taking a Brave Bird, it probably will still go down in one shot. Oh no, it doesn't go down! Close combat hits very hard. 6% for Talonflame, 9% for Alito the Hitmonlee. Really surprising, actually, that it did. That it didn't take it down. I guess I have to eat my words. Maybe it's a defensively invested Hitmonlee. But regardless of any defense investment, Quick Attack does take it down. That Hitmonlee was going to be a big problem for Mega Lopunny, so the fact that Colin was able to take it down was pretty good for him. Talonflame, however, at very low health, and if Quest could get Stealth Rock up, then that's it for Talonflame. In comes Marin the Azumarill. Probably gonna go for an Aqua Jet, or maybe boost with Belly Drum. Nope, Aqua Jet is the move it decides to use. Rotom Wash, relatively safe switch in this scenario. Will we see Jolteon or Steelix come back out? Jolteon is the one to come back out, taking a Hydro Pump, 49% of its health. Calling out that switch. I think a switch in here could possibly be Amoonguss. Oh, no switch in. Goes for the Hyper Voice. Deals about half to Rotom Wash. In comes Amoonguss. And Audino's the one to switch in to take that Toxic. Audino goes for a Wish. And Knockoff is going to get rid of the Black Sludge on Amoonguss. Giga Drain does marginal damage. Audino's going to shrug off that Toxic. There's a little bit of a stalemate Stalemate? Stalemate? I don't actually know what the word is. Stalemate? Okay, in comes Steelix. And a wish goes up. Will Rotom be the one to accept that wish? I think that's the most reasonable option. Yep, Rotom accepts the wish, and Earthquake isn't going to do anything. Hydro Pump will do big damage to Steelix, so we might see Amoonguss come back out. Indeed, Amoonguss is the one to come back out. Taking that Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump should be on low PP now. Yeah, 4 out of 8. There's only 4 more Hydro Pumps that Rotom can use. In comes Audino, taking the Toxic. Heal Bell's going to allow Audino to shrug off that Toxic. And Azumarill's the one to come out. Wish is set up by Audino. And in comes Rotom Wash. Brick Break doesn't really do much to Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash comfortable in this scenario. Jolteon could be a switch-in to get Volt Absorb from the Rotom Wash, maybe. Quest still has some pretty good synergy with his team right now. I don't think he's going to want to let Azumarill take a Volt Switch. Oh, and Jolteon comes in, taking that Hydro Pump. The prediction was off. Rotom Wash now free to Volt Switch whenever without fearing Jolteon recovery. Rotom Wash goes for the switch. Dragalge comes in, taking that Toxic, shrugging it off like it's nothing. Dragalge sets up Substitute, so Spore cannot hit through that Substitute. And in comes Steelix. Sludge Bomb won't do anything to Steelix. But Surf will, dealing a whopping 52%. The Earthquake takes down the Substitute, but Dragalge is faster, so one more Surf will be enough to take it down. And that's exactly what happens. Surf takes down Steelix. In comes Crobat. Crobat can hit pretty hard with Brave Bird. Will it be enough to take down Dragalge? And will Colin keep Dragalge in? He does not keep Dragalge in. Instead, he switches out Rotom Wash, who takes that Brave Bird very comfortably. In comes Amoonguss. Rotom Wash goes for the Volt Switch. And out comes Dragalge once again. Dragalge will be free to set up a substitute in this scenario. And that's exactly what it does. Crobat, however, has Infiltrator, so this is something that he is going to have to be very careful of. U-Turn allows Crobat to switch very comfortably, sending out Amoonguss to take a Draco Meteor, which does about 50%. Amoonguss does not really care about having 50% done to it, however. But Azumarill does. 57% taken from that Sludge Bomb. One more Sludge Bomb will be enough to do it. Will it go for the Belly Drum? No. It goes for Twinkle Tackle to take that substitute out. But Azumarill goes down. And in comes Crobat. Rotom Wash gonna come in again to take that Brave Bird. Not a good position for Quest to be in. Volt Switch is going to bring Crobat down to about 31%. Crobat's in trouble if it's choice locked to Brave Bird. And a Fake Out's going to deal big damage. It's not an inner focus Crobat. Rotom is going to shrug off that Brave Bird and be able to Volt Switch away. And indeed, that's precisely what happens. Crobat goes down to the Volt Switch, and in comes Camerupt. And Amoonguss. Camerupt goes for the Eruption, killing Amoonguss, and that is a victory for Colin. 6-0. Really, wow, that was really impressive. The performance he put up. Seems like Dragalge and Rotom Wash were really able to have some good synergy together to block Quest's team very effectively. Quest was able to play very well, but Colin's Rotom Wash in particular, I think, was wow. And the fact that Audino had safety goggles on, very strong team building from Colin this week. Both players doing a good job, and I think this brings Colin up to 3-2, and Quest as well, actually, are going to be both at 3-2. So, great job from both trainers, and that was match 5 of week 5. And tune in next time for more matches of the FnF Victory Road Draft League.